Hi, I'm Dr. Joe DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health, and we're going to talk about today is neck pain. In particular, we're going to talk about the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but it's more commonly referred to as just the SCM. So first, let's just quickly go over some basic anatomy of the SCM muscle. Now, the sternocleidomastoid is a muscle of the anterior or front part of our neck. It basically has two origins. The first part of the SCM comes off of what we call the sternum, or the top of our breastbone. And then it also has an origin coming off of the medial aspect, or the inner part of the clavicle. Both of these branches come up and converge into one muscle, and they both attach or insert in what's called the mastoid process of the temporal bone. This part of the insertion is pretty much just below where the ear is. Okay, so that diagram gives us a little visual of where the SCM is located. Let's take a look at it on the body itself. So if I'm contracting my right SCM muscle, when you contract the right muscle, your head actually turns to the left. So if I turn my head to the left, my right CM is contracted, and you can see the muscle pop out of the neck area. You can see the origins down near the sternum and clavicle down here. If you follow it up, you can palpate it. It goes diagonally up the neck and to the point of the mastoid process of the temporal bone, like I showed you in the diagram, which is just about below the ear, and you can palpate all the way along the course of the muscle. If I contract the left SCM, I'm going to turn my head to the right, and once again, from the temporal bone down to the sternum and clavicle. If you contract both SCMs together, you actually bend your head forward. And that's where a lot of this neck pain and the reason for this video. What are we doing all day? We hear about text neck, we're on our cell phones, we're looking at our computer, the head is bent forward. In this position, the SCM muscles are in a shortened, contracted state. That's how you're going to build up contractions in the muscle, fascial adhesions in the muscle, leaving the head down like that for extended periods. When you go to look up, you're going to have that tension build up in these muscles of the front part of your neck. Now, you may not necessarily get the neck pain in the front of the neck, but what will happen is, as these muscles get tight here, you're going to get a drawing forward of the head, or you'll see people with bad posture, their head is down and forward, and the tightness of those SCM muscles are going to put pressure and pull on the muscles on the back of the neck, which is where we often get the actual neck pain. But it's not necessarily a problem from here. The problem is being caused here. Even though we may not feel the actual neck pain or the symptoms in the front of the neck, it's these tight SCM muscles that need to be addressed. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over some fascial release work and some self-massage work on the SCM muscles so you can help yourself at home and try to take care of this problem. So let's talk first about doing a little self-massage on the SCM muscle. As I stated, when you turn your head to one side, the opposite SCM muscle is what contracts, and that allows you to be able to palpate the muscle. So, for example, if I turn my head to the right, my left SCM becomes palpable. So what I'm going to do is, in about 3 or 4 different spots, I'm going to turn my head, and I'm actually going to find that SCM muscle right above the insertion point where the belly of the muscle begins, and I'm going to put it between my thumb and my index and middle finger. And then once I have it between my thumb and fingers, I'm going to turn my head back to the center so that now the muscles relax, but I'm still holding on to it. And in this position, I'm going to do a little bit of just self-massage, back and forth. I'm going to give you the special effects of this video as we come in for the close-up, just showing you what I'm doing. As you can see, I have the muscle between my fingers, and I'm just kind of kneading it very gently. Special effects are over. I'm just going to come back here. Once I do that for about 30 seconds, I'm going to relax. I'm going to turn the head again just to make sure I can get a good position on that SCM. I'm going to come up a ½ inch or so into another position. I'm going to get it between my fingers. Once again, I'm going to turn back to neutral so that it relaxes. You don't really want to do it with the head turned, because in this position the muscle's tight. But once I have it between my fingers, I'll turn my head back to neutral, and I'll do that self-massage, kneading very gently. Don't need to put much pressure on the SCM, and I'm going to knead it for 30 seconds. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do 4 places for 30 seconds along the course of the muscle. That's going to generate a tremendous amount of blood flow into the SCM muscle. It's going to loosen it up. It's going to feel great. Once we do that, and we want to do that first, we want to do some fascia release work on the SCM muscle at the origin and the insertion spots. What we're going to do is we're going to take a Tai Chi ball from OcraMed Health. We want to use a Tai Chi ball with the texture that a Tai Chi ball has. I wouldn't recommend using a tennis ball or a smooth ball. You're not going to get into the tissue or into the fascia as well. We're going to take the Tai Chi ball, and what we're going to do is once again turn the head, get the origin of the SCM first along the sternum here, and I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to put it up a little bit high, and then I'm going to nice and easy gently pull down. So I'm going to start a little high on that insertion point, and I'm going to pull down into the sternum. And from this position, I'm going to hold the ball with my fingers, and I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to gently extend my head backwards slightly, and then I'm going to turn it to the right. Now this is if we're working the left SCM muscle. I'm going to traction down onto on the origin. I'm going to extend slightly. You'll feel tension, and then I'm going to slightly turn back towards the right side, and I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. I'm going to do that 3 times on the sternal attachment here, on the sternal origin here, and then I'm going to move off onto the clavicle. I'm going to get that Tai Chi ball. I'm going to start above the clavicle, but then I'm going to pull the tissue below the clavicle. So I'm going to get in pretty deep on that tissue. I'm going to start above. I'm going to traction down so that it's below the clavicle. Once again, I'm going to extend back, nice and easy, and I'm going to tilt, and I'm going to turn to the right until I feel a nice stretch on that SCM muscle. I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. I'm going to do that 3 times. After we do 3 and 3 here, I'm going to once again palpate the muscle all the way up into the temporal bone here, and I'm going to get that Tai Chi ball right on that area there. I'm going to start at the temporal bone. I'm going to traction down into the SCM muscle. I'm going to put firm pressure. Once again, I'm going to extend back, and I'm going to turn to the right. And I'm going to hold that for 30 seconds. And we're going to do that 3 times for 30 seconds. So we're going to do fascial release work 3 times on the sternum, 3 times off to the clavicle, so the 2 origins, and then I'm going to get up into the insertion point and do 3 times for 30 seconds up in that area. You're going to notice a tight SCM if you're suffering from one right now. Working the self-massage and the fascial release, if you're currently might be experiencing some occipital headaches, besides neck pain, you may be experiencing some daily headaches that you don't know why. Don't be surprised if doing some release work on the SCM eliminates your headaches from doing that type of work. It can definitely cause headaches because of the insertion point of the muscle. So give those techniques a try. I think you're going to find this is something you can do if you're at a desk or you have your head down a lot during the day. There's nothing wrong with working that self-massage and that fascial release 2 or 3 times during the day to try to really loosen up that SCM muscle. If you're looking for an exercise program that's going to build lean muscle mass without the bulk in a safe, injury-free manner, then you definitely want to visit my website, www.OcraMedHealth.com, where I will customize a workout program just for you consisting of calisthenic and gymnastic movements along with some weight training. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. If you have any questions about exercises or injuries, just leave a comment in the comment section below. I always do everything I can to get back to anyone who writes into us. And don't forget, OcraMed Health, keeping you fit forever.